Okay, let's talk about this project that I've been working on. So yeah, I've created a digital cuckoo clock that you can view online, and I have done that with purely vibe coding. So I have not coded anything myself. And I thought about how I can present that to you because I have actually recorded the whole process, but it's actually tedious because it wasn't that easy. And so I thought maybe I just let AI do that job for me, and I basically asked ChatGPT to do an interview with me and just ask about it. Yep. So I'll show you the clock. That's the first thing. So digital cuckoo clock. That's the title, and you have to allow sound, and it's quite loud for you, I think. And we can change the volume. So, and then yeah, we're like 7 minutes away from 12 o'clock. So we'll see that happening. We could also turn the volume off completely. There's an on-off button for the volume. So we've got the clock there, and then we have ChatGPT. I want to use ChatGPT to do a quick interview with us, and I have prepared a prompt that I can hopefully. I still have it in the what is it called? Clipboard. Yeah. So you are a world-class interview host. Yeah, I always like to give it a persona. This is a bit, I didn't think much about it. I just said world-class interview host. I give you this screenshot, so I'm going to add a screenshot. And that is a screenshot of the clock in the browser. And so, yeah, I just said I give you the screenshot and the code. So the whole code for that clock, it's just one file. And then I said wait for instructions. So I give it the code and the screenshot, and then tell it to wait for instructions from me. And hopefully it just accepts that now. Use voice mode. Hi ChatGPT. I would like you to interview me about this project that I have done, and that was creating a digital cuckoo clock that can run online in a browser, and I have done that without any coding. So I have just vibe coded it, meaning I have just used natural language and large language models to create the code. Yeah, and I would love you to interview me about that to show our audience, how I made this clock.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Chris, one thing, sorry, I forgot to say, let's keep it up to about 10 minutes, the interview.
Got it. We'll keep it to around 10 minutes. All right, Chris, let's start at the beginning. What inspired you to create a digital cuckoo clock in the first place, and how did you come up with the idea to use natural language and large language models to build it?
Yeah, so I always think about things to do with vibe coding. So I always think of apps. I've got lots of ideas, but a lot of them are just boring because I do a lot of stuff with numbers. I'm investing, and so I let it build some sort of calculation apps and statistics and all that, and that's a little bit boring. So I thought I want something visual, something something more lighthearted, something more interesting, maybe for the average viewer, and just to get the right people to find this stuff, because otherwise I'll only get the money and calculation maths nerds. And so I just looked around in a book one day, and I saw like clock mechanisms and something about cuckoo clocks, and then I thought, oh, actually I could do that online. That would be a nice little project. And that's how I got to that.
That's a great origin story. So once you decided on the concept, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in bringing the digital cuckoo clock to life? especially using natural language instructions and large language models instead of traditional coding?
Yeah, the um, the challenge really started straight away after I had made a plan. So I actually went and made a plan with ChatGPT together. So I create a master plan. That's usually what I do when I have a bit of a project. And yeah, so we pretty quickly came up with that master plan of how to build it. I told it that I wanted to create the images actually with ChatGPT, basically PNGs of all the parts that have a transparent background, and then I thought that we can kind of code them together. As I said, I don't have any real idea of coding, so I thought that we could maybe just take the images and yeah, somehow insert them and put them all together. And so the real challenge started already when ChatGPT told me that I need to create an SVG with a program that can deal with those kind of things. So that was Inkscape. I had to use Inkscape, and I had never used it. I had to download it and then figure out how that program works, and then figure out how to put it all together. And that took me a long time, and I had to ask a lot of questions to ChatGPT about that as well. But ChatGPT got me through that. It just took way longer than I thought. And, I had to scale everything. I had to match everything and put them, put all the parts in the different layers to create it SVG and then export it in the end.
That's fascinating. So once you had the SVG and all the visual elements in place, what was your process for making sure all those elements worked smoothly together?
Now I'm just interrupting you because the Cuckoo is just coming out, and it's fun to watch, and that's cool. It's 12 o'clock, so 12 times it should happen. Yeah. What was the question again?
No problem. That must be fun to see in action. The question was about how you approached integrating all the interactive features, like the pendulum swing, clock hands, and cuckoo animation, and what your process was to ensure everything worked smoothly together.
Yeah, so after I had that SVG, I didn't know this, but it actually creates a code, which is an SVG code. I had no idea before, but then I thought, all right, now we've got the SVG code, and I know that ChatGPT is very good at coding, or at least some of the models. And I thought, now I'm away. Now, with I can just copy and paste the code in and tell it to put it all together in a in a format that you can actually run it in a browser. And yes, it actually created a page that made it visual, like made the clock look like a clock, but nothing was moving at first. But then, a couple of back and forth things, and then things started moving, but it did not look like anything. The hour hand and the minute hand, they were somewhere outside the browser edge. I couldn't even see them anymore. The pendulum was swinging in a total different location than it should be, and in a total different direction. So the main issue was the pivot points. So ChatGPT couldn't really see where the pivot points were, even though I had set them in Inkscape. But Inkscape is not apparently not made for outputting any pivot points, and so I had to I had a lot of back and forth trying to figure out how to get these pivot points right, and that was my biggest challenge there, was to get that right. That pendulum, that was kind of comical, that it was flying in mid-air sometimes, or just going completely wrong, and the hands were just not there. And so in the end, how I solved that problem was I was totally frustrated, and I actually went and figured out the pivot points just from looking at the Inkscape X and Y coordinates of everything, and I wrote them all down, and I gave them to ChatGPT, and it still didn't get it right. And then I did the same, so copied that prompt and put it into Gemini, into the Gemini 2.5 Pro, and that actually all of a sudden got it in the right position and got it pivoting around the right pivot points. So that was the main challenge solved. And then I had some little issues that I actually then again solved with ChatGPT. So it was quite interesting how it worked with two different models. I could actually, in the end, get it going.
That's quite a journey. It's impressive how you navigated those challenges and leveraged different models to get everything aligned. Now that the digital cuckoo clock is up and running, what are some of the key lessons or insights you've gained from this experience that you'd like to share with others who might want to try vibe coding their own projects?
Yes. So I think one important thing is actually going very deep in the process of the planning phase. So making sure there are a lot of details. And even if you've got a plan already ready, I would say I would now, next time, say to the large language model to go even deeper and even more detailed in the plan, so that first the LLM understands exactly what is going to happen, and also that I understand it better. So I just didn't know how hard it will be to get, I didn't realize that this pivot point could be an issue at all. And so I think if I had put it in a better plan, that I could have foreseen that better and maybe avoided this whole issue. And then the second part is to also use different models. So try different providers, different models, and even cross prompt them. Take one prompt and use it on several platforms and see where you get better results, and then take it back and forth. That it works. And yeah, that's the two things I think I learned from this project. And don't give up. I got it done in the end. It was probably 100 prompts until I got it done, but I got it done.
Those are fantastic insights, Chris. It sounds like thorough planning and being flexible with tools and approaches really paid off. Thanks for sharing your experience. Any final thoughts or upcoming projects you'd like to tease for the audience?
Yeah, I've got lots of other projects. I don't know exactly what I'm doing next, but it's probably something that that helps me with my business. So it's probably going to be a little bit less visual, a little bit more boring to watch, but it's going to help a lot. So I think AI vibe coding is very, very helpful, and I think that'll be a big part in the future of every business and every small business. And so keep vibe coding, I would say.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing your journey and insights, Chris. It's inspiring to see how vibe coding can open up new possibilities for small businesses and creative projects alike. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with next.
Thanks for that. Okay, so I should be full on the screen again. Yeah, so thanks for watching that, and thanks for coming with me on that interview journey. I'm not the best interviewee, I would say, but that was kind of fun. That was kind of all right. So I didn't have to do all the thinking about what I'm going to say. I got some questions asked. That was good. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.